Okay, so I have not made a video in quite a while, but we're going to carry on with Act 3 scene, well, we're going to try to get through the whole of Act 3 for Macbeth today. And then I'll go back to my EGD for those that are really on this channel for EGD, but thank you for watching, whether it's for Macbeth or EGD or whatever it may be. Okay, so starting off with Banquo, let's start scene 1. An audience chamber in the palace at Forest in Scotland. Some weeks have passed. Banquo enters. Banquo, thou hast it now. King Cawdor glamours all, as the weird woman promised, and I fear thou playest most foully for it. Yet it was said, it should not stand in thy prosperity, but that myself should be the root and the father of many kings. If there come truth from them, as upon thee, Macbeth, their speeches shine. Why, by the verities of thee made good, may there not be the oracles as well, and set me up in hope, but hush, no more. Okay, so basically Banquo is just saying, like Macbeth has a now king, he was Cawdor, he was Glams, sorry, and he feels like Macbeth played foully, so he didn't do the right thing, like he didn't wait for it, he played dirty to get to king, which he did because he killed his cousin. Okay, Senate sounded. Enter Macbeth as king, Lady Macbeth as queen, Lennox, Ross, lords and attendants. Macbeth, here's our chief guest, Lady Macbeth. If he had been forgotten, it had been as a gap in our great feast, and all thing unbecoming. Macbeth, tonight we hold a solemn supper, sir, and I request your presence. Banquo, let your highness command upon thee, to the which my duties are with a most indissoluble tie forever knit. Macbeth, ride you this afternoon? Banquo, aye, my good lord. Okay, so basically this isn't like really major importance in my personal opinion, but it's basically they're having a feast, they're having a dinner. Like this word specifically, this section here is not specifically important, and Macbeth's just saying like we're having a good supper with our guest Banquo, and he asks Banquo if he's gonna go home this evening, and Banquo says yes. Okay, so Macbeth, we should have else desired your good advice, which still hath been both grave and prosperous in this day's council, but we'll take tomorrow. Is it far you ride? So basically he's just saying, are you going to ride far? Banquo, as far, my lord, as will fill up the time, twixt this and supper. Got not my horse the better. I must become a borrower of the night for a dark hour or twain. So Macbeth, so basically saying he does have to go early, and then Macbeth says, fail not our feast. So he's basically saying just stay for dinner. And Banquo is saying, like, my lord, I will not fail the feast. So you're saying he'll stay for dinner. Macbeth, we hear our bloody cousins are bestowed in England and in Ireland, not confessing their cruel parricide, filling their hearers with strange invention. But of that tomorrow, when therewithal shall have cause of state craving us jointly, hie ye to horse, I do, till you return at night, goes Fleance with you. Okay, so Macbeth is saying, and excuse my poor Shakespeare readings, it's not, obviously you would know, not the greatest English nowadays. Okay, but Macbeth is basically just saying, Duncan's children are busy telling lies. That's what he's saying. He's saying that they busy telling lies to the people that they are now within England and Ireland. And then he says to Banquo, is your son going to go with you at night time? And Banquo says, I, my good lord, our time does call upon. So Banquo, or Fleance is going to go with Banquo. Macbeth, I wish your horses are swift and sure of foot, and so I do command you to their backs. Farewell. Banquo off. Let every man be the master of his time till 7 at night, to make society the sweeter welcome. We will keep ourselves till supper time alone. Well then, God be with you. All off except Macbeth and a servant. Sarah, a word with you. Attend those men, our pleasure attendants. They are, my lord, without the palace gate. Macbeth, bring them before us. The servant off. To be thus is nothing, but to be safely thus. Our fears in Banquo stick deep, and his royalty of nature reigns that which would be feared. 'Tis much he dares, and to that dauntless temper of his mind He hath a wisdom that doth guide his valour to act in safety. There is none but he whose being I do fear, and under him my genius is rebuked, as it is said, Mark Antony's was by Caesar. Okay, so Macbeth fears that Banquo's knows what's happening. Okay. He chid the sisters when they first put the name of king upon me, and bade them speak to him. Then, prophet-like, they held him father to a line of kings. Upon my head they placed a fruitless crown, and put a barren sceptre in my grip. Thence to be wrenched with an unlineal hand, no son of mine succeeding. So basically he's saying he is not going to have children, but Banquo is, and Banquo was promised not. Banquo was told he won't be king, but that his children will be king. Okay, so no son of mine succeeding. If it be so, for Banquo's issue I have filed my mind. For them the gracious Duncan I have murdered, put rancors in the vessel of my peace, only for them and mine eternal Jill, given to the common enemy of man, to make them kings, the seed of Banquo kings. Rather than so, come fate into the list, and champion me to the utterance. Who's there? The servant returns with 2 murderers. Now go to the door, and stay there till we call. So the servant goes away. Was it not yesterday we spoke together? And the first murderer says, It was, so please your highness. Macbeth. Well then now, have you considered of my speeches? Know that it was he in the past times which held you so under fortune, which you thought had been our innocent self. This I made good to you in our last conference, passed in probation with you, how you were borne in hand, how across the instruments who wrought with them, and all things else that might to half a soul and to a notion craze. Say thus did Banquo. Murderer, you have made it known to us. Macbeth, I did so, and went further, which is now our point of second meeting. Do you find your patience is so predominant in your nature that you can let this go? Are you so gospel to pray for this good man and for his issue? Okay, so before I turn the page, basically Macbeth is trying to tell these murderers that they were in prison because of Banquo, and they're saying like, are you going to just so easily let what he has done to you go, or do you sort of want to take revenge? Okay. Whose heavy hand hath bowled you to the grave, and beggared yours forever. First murderer, we are men, my liege. Aye, in the catalogue ye go for men, as hounds and greyhounds, mongrels, spaniels, curds, sloughs, water rags, and demi-wolves are clipped by the name of dogs. The valued fowl distinguishes the swift, the slow, the subtle, the housekeeper, the hunter, every one according to the gift which bounteous nature hath in him closed, whereby he does receive particular addition from the bill that writes them all alike, and so of men. Now if you have a station in the fowl, not either worst rank of manhood, say it, and I will put that business in your bosoms, whose execution takes your enemy off, grapples you to the heart and love of us, who wear our health but sickly in his life, which in his death were perfect. Second murderer, I am one, my liege, whom the vile blows and buffets of the world have so incensed that I am reckless what I do to spite the world. First murderer, and I another, so weary with disasters, tugged with fortune, that I would set my life on any chance to mend it or to be rid of. Macbeth, both of you know Banquo was your enemy. So he's saying, Banquo wasn't your friend. He did this to you. He was like your enemy. Both murderers. True, my lord. Macbeth, so is he mine, and in such a bloody distance that every minute of his being thrust against my nearest of life, and though I could with barefaced powers sweep him from my sight and bid I will avouch it, yet I must not, for certain friends that are both his and mine, whose loves I may not drop, but wail his fall, who I myself struck down, and thence it is that I to your assistance do make love, masking the business from the common eye for sundry weighty reasons. So basically Macbeth is saying, I could kill him, but that's just going to make me look bad, and the people that we are both friends with are not going to forgive me, sort of thing. So the second murderer says, we shall, my lord, perform what you command us. So the first murderer, through our lives. Though our lives. Okay, so basically I'm sure you can figure out Macbeth wants them to kill Banquo. Okay, Macbeth, your spirit shine through you. Within this hour at most, I will advise you where to plant yourselves, acquaint you with the perfect spot of the time. The moments on foot must be done tonight, and something from the palace always thought that I require a clearness, and with him to leave no rubs nor botches in the work. Fleancy's son, that keeps him company, whose absence is no less material to me than is his father's, must embrace the fate of that dark hour. Resolve yourselves apart, and I'll come to you anon. So basically, he wants Banquo and Fleance killed, and the reason why he wants Fleance killed is because of the witches saying that Banquo's children will become kings. Both murderers. We are resolved, my lord. Macbeth, I will call upon you straight, abide within. Murder is off, it is concluded. Banquo, thy soul's flight, if it find heaven, must find it out tonight. Macbeth off by another door. So they're going to kill Banquo. Scene 2, and they're going to kill Fleance too. That's their plan. Scene 2, the same. Lady Macbeth enters with a servant. Lady Macbeth, is Banquo gone from court? Servants, aye, madam, but returns again tonight. Lady Macbeth, say to the king I would attend his leisure for a few words. Servants, madam, I will. Servants off. Okay, Lady Macbeth, naught's had all spent. Where our desire is got without content, 'tis safer to be that which we destroy, than by destruction dwell in doubtful joy. Macbeth enters lost in thought. How now, my lord? Why do you keep alone? How sorriest fancies your companions making, using those thoughts which should indeed have died with them they think on. Things without all remedy should be without regard. What's done is done. So she's basically saying, the murder's done, that's just the way it is. Macbeth, we have scorched the snake, not killed it. She'll close and be herself, whilst our poor Malice remains in danger of her former tooth. So Macbeth's like afraid that they'll be caught out for what they've done. But let the frame of things disjoint, both the worlds suffer. Ere we'll eat our meal in fear and sleep in the affliction of those terrible dreams that shake us nightly. Better be with the dead whom we, to gain our peace, have sent to peace, than on the torture of the mind than on the torture of the mind to lie in restless ecstasy. Duncan's in his grave. After life's fitful fever, he sleeps well. Treason has done his worst. Nor steel nor poison, malice domestic, foreign levy nothing. Can't touch him further. So they can't hurt Duncan. He's dead. But what you'll notice here is Macbeth sort of has a sort of fear that he's going to get caught. Lady Macbeth, come on, gentle my lord, sleek over your rugged looked. Be bright and jovial among your guests tonight. So she's basically saying, don't look sad or like regretful. That's how I'm just going to put it. But she's basically saying, like, look happy, look like you're proud to be king for your guests. Macbeth, so shall I, love, and so I pray be you. Let your remembrance apply to Banquo. Present him eminence both with eye and tongue, and safe the while that we must have our honours in these flattering streams, and make our faces wizards of visors to our hearts, discussing what they are. Lady Macbeth, you must leave this. Oh, full of scorpions is my mind, dear wife. Thou knowest that Banquo and his Fleance lives, but in them nature's copy not inter. There's comfort yet, they are assailable. So he's saying they can be assassinated. Then thou be joined. Ere the bat hath flown his cloistered flight, ere to black hair-cat summons, the shard-born beetle with his drowsy hum hath rung night's yawning peal, there shall be done a deed of dreadful note. So Lady Macbeth asks, what's to be done? Be innocent of the knowledge, dearest chunk, till they applaud the deed. Come, sealing night, scarf up the tender eye of the pitiful day, and with thy bloody and invisible hand, cancel and tear to pieces that great bond, which keeps me paled. Light thickens, and the crow makes wing to the rooky wood. Good things of the day begin to droop and drowse, while night's black agents to their praise do rouse. Though marvellous at my words, but hold thee still. Things had begun make strong themselves by ill. So prithee, go with me. So Lady Macbeth doesn't know that Banquo and Fleance are going to get killed, but Macbeth is just saying, like, I'm not going to tell you what's going to happen until it's done. Scene 3. A steep road leading through a wood to the gates of the royal park, some way from the palace at Forest. The two murderers come up with a third. First murderer. But who did bid thee join with us? Third murderer, Macbeth. So the one murderer is asking, why are you with us? Who told you to come be with us? And he says Macbeth. Second murderer, he needs not our mistrust, since he delivers our officers and what we have to do to the direction just. So they're saying he doesn't have to just trust us, we're going to do the job. First murderer, then stand with us. The west yet glimmers with some streaks of day, now spurs the elated traveller space to gain the timely and near approaches, the subject of our watch. Third murderer, hark, I hear horses. Banquo, at a distance. Give us a light there, ho. So now they know it's Banquo. Second murderer, then 'tis he, the rest that are within the note of expectation, already are the court. First murderer, his horses go about. Third murderer, almost a mile, but he does usually, so all men do, from hence to the palace gate make it their walk. Banquo and Fleance with a torch are seen coming up the path. Second murderer, a light, a light. Third murderer, 'tis he. Stand to it. It will be rain tonight. Okay, that's what Banquo says. First murderer, let it come down. First murderer strikes out the torch and others set upon Banquo. So they were waiting for Banquo, almost like hunting him, and then they see him come up and then they attack him. Banquo, oh treachery, fly, good Fleance, fly, fly, fly. Thou mayest revenge, O slave. Okay, so Banquo dies, Fleance escapes. So Banquo was saying to his son, go, get out of here. Third murderer, who did strike out the light? Okay, who did strike out the light? First murderer was not the way. Third murderer, there's but one down, the sun is fled, so the sun got away. Second murderer, we have lost. Best half our fare. First murderer, well, let's away and say how much is done. Off. Okay, I think I'm going to do scene 4 and the rest of the third scene, or scene 3. Not scene 3, act 3, in another video.